is to get you across that line.
Even if we have to drag.
You may have skin knees, we're not going to promise you. You may pull a hamstring, but hey. So to start out, I'm going to give you a piece of paper. I don't know anyone in here except one person I'm afraid to admit who I know because he's a troublemaker and I don't want him to start already. So, Skylar, I'm expecting you to behave.
It's good to see you, Beth.
So, we are so excited to have you guys in this class. Cheryl Watson, you've already heard about her. You probably already met Cheryl. She's renowned. She's like known all over the state of Nevada. And then we have actually her better half, Jim's here. Jim Watson. You may know Jim from South Tahoe.
Jim was
Superintendent of HR.
Exactly. And Lake Tahoe Unified School District out of South Lake Tahoe. And he's here to film this class, not just for your benefit, but also we have some students joining us who are distant. We have 2 distant students, one in Markleyville and one in California, and one in Bishop, California. And so hello to Jennifer and hello to Elizabeth, and we'll be speaking to them occasionally. But the benefit of filming this, other than Jim having some private time away from me, is the fact that you and our distant students are able to go back and review it. It will be posted tomorrow, if all goes well with IT, on YouTube. Not that we want to be posted on YouTube, but it will be available, and I'll send you the link so that you can access probably 3 or 4, I would say, of our classes. The most important. Tonight is going to be not a good example of best practices of teaching, because we will be standing up here as the sage on the stage and just talking at you. I am sorry to say this class we will not be facilitating your learning, but delivering so much information that is imperative that you understand and hear and get, and that we can clarify so that it will make this journey in phase 2 a lot more, actually not more, maybe less, challenging. Phase 2 is intense. It's rigorous. This is nothing like you have ever done before. It is not like phase 1, although that was an excellent foundational learning experience. It is not like your undergrad work at your university or college. It is the road to a master's degree. And you only have 2 classes. It used to be 3 classes. Now it's only 2 classes, so we move it. We really, really believe as we power through. So with that said, Beth?
So a couple of things, you know, attendance is mandatory. So if there's something that comes up that, let's say it was back to school night on one of our sessions, you need to let us know ASAP, like yesterday. Another thing is if we, you know how it is today. I mean, I've got a 20-year-old, and if I don't text him back immediately, I start getting mom, 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 question mark, question mark. So if we send something out to you and ask you to confirm or respond, please try and get to us within a day if you can. If it's a little bit longer, then we start thinking, okay, this person's not getting our email, and because there's been some issues with power up at Incline. It's gone out several times, and it impacts Vegas and Reno when that happens. And our head of IT has recently resigned. So we're in the process of going to replace that position, which, you know, hopefully we're, you know, lighting candles as we speak. We won't have to deal with any of those issues. But communication's huge in this course, because I'm telling you, it goes really quickly, and we will answer your questions as quickly as we can, but we need you to make sure that you are in communication with us so that we stay together and are on the same page. It's easy to get behind, and so we're going to push you really in a nice way, but in a rigorous way to make sure. Like Cheryl said, phase 1 is the professional preparation that you went through to be a teacher. All the skills that you're going to need and how many people are already in the classroom? Is everybody already in the classroom? So, you know, the traditional ancient programming was you went through all of your coursework, did your student teaching, and then you went out and secured a teaching job. So ARL has turned that around a little bit, and so you're already most of you are in the classrooms. So you're professionally prepared. This part of the program, like Cheryl said, is the step up into a more academic focused, rigorous research and writing. So the most important aspect of this is that you need to recognize your, and I'm not sure if this has been discussed in the student teaching piece or not, but
Briefly.
your writing skills are what will make it or break it in this course. So if you, at this point, are sitting there thinking, I don't know if I have graduate level writing skills, it's interesting because you may be a math teacher and you are the most incredible writer there is, like Skylar. Or you may be an English teacher and your focus was in reading literature and so writing wasn't one of your strengths. If you have some issues with writing, you need to notify us immediately so that we can discuss different options you've got, because that's the #1 way that you will not make it through a graduate program. And not just our graduate program, any graduate program. Because when I went to the University of Colorado, I remember one of my first papers I turned in, I got it back and I had 3 typos. And the instructor wrote on it, I assume you do not, and of course I thought I edited it 1,000 times. He wrote, and it was about a 4-page paper. He says, I assume you did not edit this, redo. So I learned right away, okay, our writing's got to be up there. So hopefully you know someone, you work with someone. Some people have found editors that they work with and tutored with to help them through it. But you're going to actually need people to support you through this with your writing, regardless if you're the best writer. Because what you write and how you describe something may seem absolutely clear and very concise and very professional, technical. You see it that way, and then we might read it and go, wow, this is not exactly what we're talking about. And we're going to give you example after example and walk you through the process so that you understand exactly. It's very formula. You're looking at technical writing at this point. So not to dismiss the fact that we know that you are talented and successful, or you wouldn't even be at this point. Some people don't make it to phase 2. They're after phase 1, they're done. So we know you can do it, and we're here to help you.
That's embarrassing.
Turn your cell phones off.
Right.
And just stay in touch with us and let us know. You've got our email addresses. You know where we are. We're here to support you and make sure you're successful, because we want to make sure that you get your degree. We want you to walk across the stage so I can shake your hand. And in an incline, that means it could be snowing in May, or it could be really nice and warm.
It could be beautiful.
I know, exactly.
But that's why attendance is so imperative, that you make every class. And we'll talk about the class sessions in a moment, but we're here to support you, and we can only do that if you're here.
Sure.
All righty. So, welcome again. We're going to take a very quick minute and introduce each other, and then I'm going to introduce...
That's the wrong course.
Spring. Oh, thank you, Beth. It's good to have... I taught this last night. This is what you'll be doing after you finish this.
We do the,
Thank you very much. Oh my gosh. I looked at my welcome PowerPoint. Yeah, right. Okay. No. Begin with introductions. Very brief.
Right, because we're gonna during some point tonight we're gonna separate into 2 cohorts, so that we can get to know each of you a little bit better. So all I'd like you to do right now is just tell us your name, if you're teaching, where you're teaching, what you're teaching. And if you don't know, you know, like, I don't know where I am, who I am, just
But
say
I made
pass.
it here today, and that's a good thing.
Seriously, so, all right, Nate, you can start with this.
I'm a resource teacher at Smith Ridge Elementary School. I teach kindergarten, 3rd grade, and they're bumping me up to pull on some 4th graders tomorrow.
What's your caseload?
Right now I'm at 15, but I'm going to be up around 20. I had a really difficult kindergartner who just went into SIP, so that took a very substantial amount of time, and so now they're going to even us out between the other resource teachers.
Okay.
And Nathan, you go by Nate?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Are you the Nathan that I emailed?
Yes.
Okay. Nathan emailed me right back, so he's okay. He can stay.
Good. Welcome, Nate.
Anyway. Ashley.
I'm Ashley, and I am going to start a long-term sub job on Monday in Smith Valley for kindergarten class.
Ashley, are you Ashley Dodge or Ashley Wright?
Ashley Wright.
Ashley Wright. Great, thank you. We have two.
Right, yeah.
Excellent, thank you.
I'm Deanna Parker, and I work at Hunter Lake. I started the year at 2nd grade, but then miraculously moved to 3rd. So I've been teaching for about 11 weeks now, so it's not too bad. But
Is this your first year ever teaching?
no.
No, I was gonna say,
Okay.
didn't you teach 3rd before?
I did. I've taught intervention 3rd, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, 3rd.
When you're a utility player, that's a good thing, but.
The move to 2nd and 3rd almost killed me, but I made it here.
I taught 3rd grade for 8 years, I loved it. It was
Well,
definitely.
no, I'm good. This year, you know,
Oh,
I had
this
to
year.
change. I had to change at 8 weeks.
Oh.
On count day.
Gotcha. Oh.
So, you know, like starting over again 8 weeks in.
Well, that's a compliment to you that you were chosen.
Actually,
As a
yeah.
former principal, I'm telling you,
Mhm.
that's true.
Welcome.
Katie.
Thank you. Laura, oh, sorry.
I'm Katie,
Katie, what's your last name?
Jasnich.
So, I don't have you as Katie, but I'm gonna change.
It's Catherine.
It's Catherine.
Okay,
Did you get that list?
I've got my list, yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I just finished student teaching in Yuba City, and so I got the job.
You're the one that drives from Yuba City. Wow. I
That's
mean,
my next concern.
Yeah.
Where is you? I haven't even heard of
It
it.
is 2.5 hours down the hill.
It's by Sacramento.
By
It's above
Sacramento, yeah.
Yeah.
In between Chico and Sacramento.
Oh my gosh.
Do you
We're gonna have to
have,
have a urine specimen to check out what's going on with you because you're driving over 2 hours.
Right, I didn't know online was an option.
Oh,
you didn't?
No.
Nobody.
No, don't
Well, you have to be a certain mile, you can't do online unless you're, what is, over 70,
100.
100 miles?
have to
Oh,
be
well,
over
yeah, I'm
100.
over that.
You
Yeah.
did. You qualify, Katie. We can discuss after
Okay,
class.
because I'm worried like weather,
And
getting
we
over
are
the
too.
pass.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
are. We're there too.
We
We're
got
there
it.
too. Okay.
Got it. We'll take care of that.
Okay. Yeah, thanks for bring up anything like that. Maybe we can help you with. Something like car battery, we can't do that, but we'll help you with any of this.
Please know that, please know that phase 2 is offered online as a distance student, and that's exactly why we're doing this filming. Not only to benefit you, but to benefit the students who are distance. But distance is challenging. It's a lot more difficult than being on ground, in class, getting your immediate feedback, being able to ask the questions immediately, allowing us to review your annotations.
Talking with other
and-
people.
Yes, the peer reviews, we know that, it's like
Yeah.
teaching in a classroom. So,
Exactly.
that's the option.
Because
But-
there are gonna be times online, that this is awesome, this is new for us. Jim's going into his own, actually, Martin Scorsese's already called him, they're trying to do a movie together, right? So anyway, so Kate, you know, what happens in class, or you'll watch something and you're going to hear Cheryl or me speak, and you're not gonna quite understand what we say, which is a lot of the time, because sometimes we don't even know what we're saying. I'm just kidding. But there'll be somebody here that say, what did she just say? What did she mean? You know what I mean? So you might wanna try, if you can, make a friend here. Okay. Victoria, is this how you spell your name?
Yeah.
That's very cool. I've never seen
Yeah,
that.
or I often go by Tor, the middle part of it, but either one works, I can go by Tor. I live in Zephyr Cove, teaching, I just finished student teaching in 6th grade.
Actually was in an ARL position last year and I taught 4th grade. I took over in early November and taught for the rest of the year. And then decided my experience would be better if I did the traditional student teaching and worked alongside another teacher. As somebody transferred into my 4th grade position, and so there wasn't, the same options, but I had a great time in 6th grade, and so I've been subbing a lot and at Zephyr Cove Elementary, so I'm almost every day.
6th grade, I taught 6th grade for, gosh, over 10 years. I love 6th grade.
It's great, it's great.
It's good.
I know. And I will say this,
She likes the little ones.
when the 6th grade is contained in the elementary school, it makes such a big difference because they're not exposed to 6th, 7th, and 8th where they're trying to be so cool.
And that's
still,
true.
Oh, the 6 is amazing. I love
That's
this.
See, I had 6, 7, 8, and I had 6th graders that loved it because they were a little scared.
Still, yeah.
Exactly.
They weren't.
Jim taught 6th grade, but he loved it, but he's tall, so that's the benefit. Most definitely. All righty, welcome, Tor. That's exciting to know that you're at Zephyr Cove. Laura.
My name is Lara Wall.
Lara.
That's okay.
Lara.
And I teach 2nd grade. This is my 2nd year at CC Mineola in Douglas County, in Gardnerville.
Your town's had a little
Yep.
excitement lately.
Right in the same neighborhood.
Oh, no.
We're like right in the middle. But
Sorry for your stuff.
yeah, it was good.
All right, Skylar, I'm dying to hear, and I want to hear about the kids.
Skylar Harrison, you can have my 6th graders. I've got 6th, 7th, and 8th at Dilworth, and I teach math. And I have a few kids too, since I've last seen
I
Beth.
know, how many more do you have?
I've got 3 total,
Do
three
you really?
three boys
That's my
that
plus
drive
only
me
one.
crazy.
3.
So 7 months, almost 5, and 7.5.
Oh, my goodness.
That,
So
long, that's amazing. That's 7.5 years since.
So I have a lot of free time.
Yeah, we're gonna give you a little extra work.
Yeah, I know. I'm looking forward to it.
You're special.
How exciting. Welcome, Skylar.
Okay, Eleanor.
Yeah, I'm Eleanor, or Ellie. I also go by Ellie. I just moved to Reno actually. I just finished up student teaching in Truckee and decided to make the move. And I'm interviewing currently for some positions, so we'll
And you
see.
made it on time. How did the interview go today?
Oh, it went well. Now
Good.
everybody knows. So if I don't get the job, guys.
Some administrator didn't know what they were doing.
Yeah. No, yeah, it went really well.
Good,
They said
good.
that they were going to make their decision by the end of today, and then
Whoa.
they called and said they're going to wait. So I hope it's a good thing.
Actually,
you know?
yeah.
Yeah, because they,
Take it
Yeah.
as a good thing.
Where
I
did you
think-
apply? Where would you interview?
Cold Springs Middle School. Hmm.
Okay,
Yeah, for their 7th and 8th social studies.
so you're secondary.
I am K through 8.
Okay.
Yeah, I did my student teaching with 5th grade. I like the upper elementary, middle.
How many people student taught? The traditional student teaching? Okay. All right, his, if you ever leave the state, you have to have that on your certificate, on your transcript, or you will not be hired in your state. Okay.
For AR, because you did AR.
Mm-hmm.
And then the student teaching, yeah. Okay, Mary.
Hi, I'm Mary Minicucci. I currently am a 2nd grade teacher at Esther Bennett Elementary School.
That's a good one. Isn't that where Val teaches? Esther Bennett?
I don't know where she is now.
Does she teach?
I don't know. No, there's nobody there. Sorry, I don't
Okay.
know. She teaches there too. I was like, I don't get out much.
It took both of you to figure that out.
Yeah, I haven't heard her name.
Got it.
I'm Ashley Dodge, and I
Thank you.
have worked at Esther Bennett for about 3 years as a Zoom interventionist teacher, and I got hired in October and finished my student teaching in 1st grade. So I'm still there, teaching 15 wonderful little 1st graders.
That's awesome.
Your class size is 15?
15, yeah, we had originally 2 teachers that had 24. We lost a star rating, so we have to have smaller sizes. So I only have 15. It is heavenly, a few left today, and by the end of the day I had 10. It was amazing.
I'm speechless.
Yeah.
Don't move to LA.
Yeah, right? Well, and the same with Mary, she got hired, I student taught in second grade, so your grade level. Same thing, they just didn't want to make you have your own class.
Yeah, so I push in.
She
I don't
runs.
have my own class. So I co-teach 2 hours a day in every third grade class.
There's about 17 in their classrooms.
Oh, that's really fun.
So you lower the
it's
student
awesome.
to teacher ratio.
Yeah.
That's good, and it sounds like you have a good team going on.
That still
That's
that would be a challenge to me.
It's fun because you get sick of them and then you go to the next class. And then you go to the next one and then you go
Let's
done.
just be honest.
It is quite a relief. Her grade level is, we got some.
Yeah, we got a couple
kids.
wild ones.
Well, I'm
Tired.
gonna tell you though, seriously, Cheryl and I don't do that. We won't leave, we'll stay.
Yeah, right.
See if we get sick of you.
You're stuck with it. Welcome. Thank you. Amber.
I'm Amber Dirk. I teach pre-K to 5 in PE right now at Incline Elementary.
There.
You look confused, sorry.
You're teaching PE.
Yes,
She's
I'm teaching
teaching
PE, so I teach all grades at the school.
They're very excited to have
Oh,
her.
that's great.
And that worked out well for you to slip right in, right, Amber?
It was that or I was going to be a long-term sped, and I slipped into PE, and I'm loving it. I get to
Good.
play all day.
I know. And wait till the weather is nice and you actually have grass.
I know. They want to go snowshoeing, and I told them after the next storm we'll go.
Okay.
So they're stoked.
Sounds
Just need
good.
stone.
That's great. How delightful. Welcome in.
I'm Melissa, and I am teaching 8th grade social studies in Incline Village, Las Instrumentas. So I have K through 8.
Are you at IES?
Incline Middle School.
Middle school.
8th grade.
I didn't
Yeah.
was focused on your social, and I thought, how can that be? Well, delightful.
It's my first year. I did half student teaching and half teaching in my own classroom. So I got like both of them and kind of dove in both feet with the new standards and yeah.
Great.
You're very lucky, Melissa, in that
Yeah.
you're not teaching in such a small school, so many different subjects. So great.
Yeah, I student taught in math, in 6th grade math, and then I also teach, now I teach Read 180, so it's like a reading support class, and then I teach social studies, 8th graders, all of them.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's fun.
Glad to have you.
So are you K8?
I am,
Okay.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Great. Miriam.
Hi, my name is Mariel. I just finished my student teaching at Alder Creek Middle School in Truckee, and I'm just subbing for band today.
She says with a smile.
Isn't it
Band. Band. That's great they have it.
What instrument do you play?
I play the piano, but I was just kind of trying to control them.
Herd the cats.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, that's what we try to do here.
Right.
You guys.
It's true, how fun. Which way shall we go? Anton?
I'm Anton. I'm not a teacher. I did my student teaching, I don't know, to 2012 maybe, and in the interim became a cop, and so I'm a cop. I have been a school resource officer now for 2 weeks, so that's what I do full time, and I'm probably going to be doing that for years, it looks like, but no promises, but that's what I do. So this is going to be a challenge.
But still related.
Right, not unrelated. In fact,
Absolutely.
I've applied the stuff that I've learned here in my job, maybe as much as any of you have.
Excellent.
But finding an appropriate topic might be a problem, I don't know.
Don't
We
worry.
can find that.
Yeah, we'll find school safety or something.
Actually, some of us needed to apply what you do in our classrooms.
Second grade.
Right.
Second grader.
Just handcuff.
I never thought of it. I was worried about the gun. But handcuffs.
This class is getting bored.
I know, sorry.
Let's talk about that while we're talking about
Okay. Thank you, welcome Anton. And this is Kristen,
I'm
right?
Kristen. Hello. I finished my student teaching in the fall with Minogue. I'm currently in negotiations with Minogue. Don't know what position, but I will have a secondary biological sciences license, so, but it doesn't really matter to Minogue because they can hire me and put me in wherever they want. So, yeah, don't know what position I'm having, but it'll probably be a Minogue next year.
Good. Are you subbing the rest of the year?
So I was subbing, but it doesn't pay that much for me. So I'm currently working in the legislature in the police department because it pays really well. So I'm actually not doing any teaching right now for this semester, but I'm going back and forth with Minogue to get a position for next year.
Okay. By the way, I got a call from Lake Tahoe School. It's right by the campus up at Incline. They're desperate for subs. And she said they're paying 90, but she says, oh, we probably could go more, which means I would ask for more.
So are we at Incline School?
Yeah, I mean, she's like,
when did you get this call?
Yeah.
Excuse me?
I'm sorry, I'm just confused because not that I could, but I am on their sub list and they've literally never called me. And I used to teach there, so I'm just a little confused.
Yeah, you know what, I'll have to, when we take a break, so I'll look and see what the name of the lady was that called me.
Okay,
I just got taken off the list.
That's really strange.
They don't know that I'm teaching at
Well,
Incline.
are you elementary? You're elementary?
Yeah,
They're not.
and I like did my practicum there. Yeah, I've been there for
Lake
years.
Tahoe School?
Yes, and the right behind it. Yes.
Somebody must have said that you have a job, is probably why. That's what I'm guessing. And she said we can't find anyone, you know.
Weird. Okay.
So I will check into that.
Something to figure out.
Well, I guess it makes sense. Never mind.
If you have a job, I'm sure. That community's very small. Listen.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Someone probably said, take her off the list, she's teaching in Incline
That's right.
Elementary. Trust me, that happens.
Yeah,
a lot.
Cheryl knows that system very well.
It does, it happens. Brianna.
Yep, I'm Bree. My full name's Brianna, but that's, yeah.
Okay.
Everyone mispronounces it and it's too much, so Bree's easier. I just actually got moved at the semester. I was a SPED resource teacher at Worcester, and one of our SIP teachers decided to go to PE, so I am now the new SIP teacher at Worcester, and I teach leadership as well, so I'm a glutton for punishment.
What is SIP?
Social intervention program. So we actually get a lot of the kids that live in the residential treatment facilities, because that's what we're zoned for. So we get a lot of the criminally insane is the next way to put it. So it's fun. I had a chair thrown at me today, and I survived. I'm here. It's fun. It's great.
You know what? Last week we had somebody throw a chair at us, so.
Yeah,
surprised
you just never know, right?
But yeah.
I was like, you're
so
Oh, that's so nice.
Is that, are you going to want to stay in that type of position, or what is your?
I taught SIP at HUG and I really enjoyed it. And then moved to Worcester and there wasn't an SIP position. So I like working with the behavioral students. They're like my people.
Do you have a SPED degree?
Yes.
Okay, there you go. All right, because I was just, you know, when you're working on this a proposal for your project, you want to choose a topic that is something that you're interested in or have a passion about or you see as a problem where you are in your school system. But you also want to focus on something that would be relevant. So if, for example, I've just been moved to 3rd grade and like Deanna was, and I'm like, I'm not going to teach 3rd grade anymore. I know I really love 6th grade. I want to go back. I would probably do my proposal in 6th grade because I'd want something that would be relevant that I know is a passion of mine. If you're out of your content area or your optimal grade level, consider that. On the other hand, if you're in a position like SIP and you think, gosh, I may end up staying here for a few years, and you want some resource that's going to help you and research that's going to help you with that, then you could say, well, you know what, I think I'm going to go that direction. So it's really sort of your call. Yeah. Chelsea.
Chelsea. Last but not least.
Chelsea Sanders. I teach 6th, 7th, 8th science over at Brookfield. And they moved me into after-school care at main campus, and now I deal with the littles. And yeah, they're little, they're like the size brackets.
It's good for you to be familiar with everyone, right?
It's actually a lot of fun, and it's very different. And if you sent an email, I definitely did not get it.
Oh, really?
You didn't?
No.
Okay, so you're going to need to contact the help desk. and let them know. And unfortunately, they're not responsive really quickly right now because they're short-manned, and all the new undergrads are up there, and they're trying to find their way around campus. And it's a big one up there. So
I'll research what you've missed, Chelsea, and make certain that we get it to you.
Yeah.
Even if we have to at your school. And we'll talk about that. That's implied in the syllabus, because that's a
Chelsea,
concern.
give me your, you're in my cohort, so what is your school address?
csanders@brookfieldbears.com.
Brookfield Bears.
Yes, they're
Okay.
bears.
Got it.
B-U-R-K?
B-R-O-O-K.
Oh, Brook, I said Brook.
F-I-E-L-D.
Bears, as in Brook.
Yeah, Brook is
Okay, is that Brookfield Bears, one word?
Yes.
And I'm sorry, was it .org, what?
Just .com. Just platforms.
What is Brookfield?
It's a tiny little private school. You don't have to be jealous. I only have 6 kids in my 6th grade class.
You should have said that.
There's only 6.
15 was, or whatever, there was all like that, you know. Yeah.
6. There's only 6 of them. In my 6th grade class, there's a few more in my 7th grade class. It's a lot of fun. We're going to do a lot more. Yeah. We're going to do a lot more.
All right, thank you all so much. Welcome. It's exciting to hear what you're doing out there in the field that Beth and I are so passionate about. As you know, I'm Cheryl Watson, Assistant Professor and Phase 2 Director, so you have to put up with me in this class and then in the second class in EDUC 635, which is writing your professional project. Beth, our department chair, if you get to her, you're in trouble. So
I'm scared.
She is scary. But if you would, our topic for tonight is to just, as I said, deliver as much information as we can to get you started on your professional project, the topic of your professional project. So we will start tonight with a very brief introduction to Phase 2, and with that said, I sent that out to you via email so that you could preview it very quickly. I will do my best to send out the handouts that are necessary either the day before or the morning of, because I found then you look at them at that point. If I send them out too soon, somehow they get lost. But this is the first class of Phase 2, 628, Educational Research and Reflective Practice. You can read the description about the 2 graduate level classes, and you will be creating, what you are working towards is a professional project. And this young gentleman, Dane Carmichael from Carson City School District, he teaches at Carson Middle School, an exemplary student, just presented this professional project in the fall of 2018. It's science exploration and problem solving in student learning. You will be seeing Dane on film because we recorded the presentations to help you see what it's going to be like to present your project, defend your project at the end of 635. So this is what you will be creating. It's a compilation of 12 lesson plans. But before you get to that, you need to, A, determine a topic, do research on your topic to determine the viability of your topic. Will it fly? Is it workable? Is it doable? Is it valuable? Most importantly, is it viable? And what does the research say out there about it? What I want from you is the good, the bad, and the ugly about your research. Your research doesn't have to be positive. If you are doing research on homework and the research says that nobody needs homework, we want to hear that. But I don't want to hear just the fact that everybody needs homework. We want to really try to get as much of a variety in our topic as we possibly can to make a good decision about the type of lessons that you are going to make. Then, this is all about the requirements, but the most important is the course requirements, which I will go over with our syllabus. to identify 12 research articles from scholarly, peer-reviewed journals that focus on effective instructional practices for one subject or content area. Then to select one professional organization. For example, if you are doing your project on math, you might choose the National Council for Teachers of Mathematics. So this is a professional organization that is applicable to your topic and your subject area. Then the final assignment of this class will be a proposal, and we'll go over that in detail. But it is a culmination of the viability, as I said previously, of your topic, of what you're going to present and create in this professional project, this binder. Many people look at this and they say, I can never do that. But yes, you can. And at the end...
Yes, you will.
And yes, you will, yeah. That's a good point. Yes, you will. Absolutely. Anyway, at the end, many students will send me an email and say, Cheryl, I've got 160 pages, and I know it's only supposed to be 150 pages. Say, it's okay, it's okay. When they were worried about, I could never write even 100 pages, I could never write 50 pages, and here they are, over the maximum. Again, this is information you can read. This is basically the flow chart of how you move from, or moving into 628, and about completing the annotations to create an annotated bibliography, which then goes into the proposal, which then goes into 635. And when you present and defend 635, your project, and then if necessary, if you don't finish, you will enroll in 699P, which is a project continuation. Now, there's no shame in that, in continuing, because life does come up. But you at this point, you're starting now in the spring. We will be done with this class by, okay, I'm thinking of last night. Let me be accurate. We will be done by May 9th with this class, May 9th, and then, hallelujah, you will have the summers off because it's too short, it's too condensed to complete this project during the summer. You will start again in the fall with 635, and you will be done by the 1st of December.
So this course, you can take it, it's a pass-fail, but you're only allowed to take it twice. So if you don't pass it the first time, let's say, you know, something came up and you won the lottery.
Writing was an issue.
You needed to go to New York, get your millions, you decided to go and travel Europe for the, you know, you're like, hey, fail me, right? We will. And then you can come back in the fall and take the course again. But you're only allowed twice, so it's really important that if life happens in this semester, you do as much as you can. And even over the summer, Cheryl always encourages students to, hey, no reason for you not to go ahead and start thinking about what else you have to do, you know, to complete either 628 or even get ready for 635, get a head start on it. But this course primarily has just two main pieces. You've got the research you've got to do, well, 3. The research you've got to do 12 research articles. And remember, we're going to go over a lot of this, but you can't just say, oh gosh, Ed Leadership is the best journal. It's got tons of great articles, which it does. I'm going to use it. I'm going to find one from every month, you know, in the last year. I'm going to use, that isn't going to cut it. You only use the same journal twice, right? Not the exact same journal, but the title, like Ed Leadership, and you only use it twice. So we want your research to be varied. Just like you, if someone's going to talk to you about a content area or a subject, you don't want them to say, well, yeah, I did this whole research on it, and I did it all as one type of periodical, right? It has to be varied. Like Cheryl said, you're going to go across a research that supports your contention, that you are, let's say, your contention is research is a waste of time, and I'm not going to, as a principal, I'm not going to require teachers to give homework. I'm not going to allow them to, which is what I did. So I had to have the research behind that, right? Because you know There are gonna be teachers that like, what? You have to give homework. Homework's like the most important part of anything. So, there is research to support homework, for sure. So I had to just make sure I could argue better, you know, when it came to that. But what happens is you will find potentially a topic, if you chose cooperative learning, there is no research that says cooperative learning does not work. And there's not any. It's all, no matter if you find a meta-analysis, I don't care what you look for, every research says cooperative learning is an effective instructional strategy that increases student achievement. So if you pick a topic, potentially you will find something that does agree with what you're already believing, right? And so that'll just be what happens for you. But you could go in different directions on your research, depending on what you find. You should probably be sitting there right now thinking, I have no idea what I'm going to research, unless you've really thought about it.
I hope not.
Well, that's right. I'm sorry, you front-loaded it.
Right.
In the past, Cheryl's awesome. Since she's come and joined this, oh my gosh, she's made my life so much easier. So it was, usually after 6:28, it'd be a line outside my office crying like, I don't know what to do. So I'm glad that happened, because now you have an idea. If you don't, though, don't worry about it, because I would have probably been the one still going, I don't know what I'm going to do. I didn't learn.
But that's what tonight is for.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it kind of gets you going, yeah.
It does, and the purpose of this project, with that lead in, Beth, thank you. The purpose of this project is the improvement of teaching practices. So while you're sitting here listening to us blab on and disseminate all this information, be thinking, what's your passion? What subject area are you passionate about? What do you see is the need at your school? What do you think, I can do this better? I know I can do this better, and I'm going to find research to prove that I can. So think about your credential, what you majored in, what your passion is, and where you want to go with your topic. Maybe it's, I won't say this to you, but 3rd grade math skills, multiplication skills, for example. But be thinking about that, and that's what we will work together to try to help you develop that topic into a professional project.
As it evolves.
Yes.
What do you do with, because I know my topic, and there is research exactly how you said, good, bad, and ugly.
Yeah, good.
So what do you do with the ugly?
I mean, include it.
You include it.
Absolutely. See, all you're going to be doing, and when we get to the annotation part, I'll explain this. This is research. This is the most exciting, boring you've ever read, most definitely. But it is technical research by scholars in the field who are sharing their information with other scholars, like scholars, so to speak. And so, some of them, as Beth said, they need to support their philosophies. And with that, it's very technical and it's research. And so all you are going to do is restate the facts. You are not, we don't want to hear any opinions. This is not an opinionated class in terms of the work that you will turn in for your annotations.
When you write an annotation, I hope a lot of you took 560 and wrote an annotation.
How many of you did take 560? Thank you, Beth. Raise your hand. With Kelly Brown. 560 with Kelly Brown. It was the first. You probably didn't, Deanna. You start, and Skylar, you
I
started.
think I probably did. I don't know. I've taken every class at some point.
I did, but it was a long time ago.
Skylar
Yes.
did like twice.
Oh,
Seriously.
So,
I made him repeat stuff because he was gone for a while. I'm sorry.
I started in 2007.
So and after
Oh my
7
God.
years, you have to repeat everything, pretty much.
yeah.
Things change a little bit. Technology has changed. You know,
Well, and it's also, as you all have run into
Poor
the
Skylar.
Nevada Department of Education.
Oh yeah, that's not our fault. We don't. We follow their rules, but we don't make them.
No,
but,
we do not.
But your question's a really valid one, because if you're, let's say you're really wanting to do my homework example, and I want to prove that homework's not beneficial, but you're going to run across articles that show how it is. What you would glean from that article is something that would be relevant for your future project. It would be, if it said homework's really, it won't say all homework is relevant probably. So it'd say homework that involves using highlighters you know. So then you would, when you did your project, you would make sure that that's something that you would like, okay, I'm going to focus on this, that type of thing.
Okay.
You know, you'd find whatever in that dissension that you're reading about, or something that's a little bit off of the main topic that you're wanting to focus on as far as the focus or intent, and then you'll use that.
And so while you're reading it, and we'll continue to elaborate and explain this further, but while you're reading the research, you're going to be looking for strategies that you could put into lessons in your professional project. So what are they recommending? Highlighting your homework.
You make a little note there, you know.
Exactly.
By the way, you know there's 12, it's 12.
We'll get to,
okay.
Yeah.
You're going to be reading so much. It's really, and I promise you, you will be surprised, because every time we start with well, students will be, oh my gosh, this is dry, this is whatever. But you start getting into the research, and you're going to read things that you will just absolutely blow your mind. Well, you know, students who wear yellow shirts on Tuesday perform better on math tests or something. You know, you're like, what? I mean, I'm being a little facetious, but there are things out there that you're going to learn a lot about that you're going to be, wow, I never knew that. There's never been a class where someone didn't come in going, you won't believe what I learned in this about, you know, this topic, or and how it usually gets people upset because they find out things that should be happening, they aren't. And the research says what we're doing is not necessarily best all the time.
But yet, most students will say to us at the end, I know, it was boring, it was dry, but I learned so much about my specific topic, what I am passionate about.
Yeah, it goes from boring to actually interesting. And it might be, as far as the passionate piece, if it's something that you're like, I'm really not passionate about homework, but I have a problem with it at my school, that's, you know, it could be a problem that you want to help solve in your school. You're like, I don't like the way you're doing this. You know, it doesn't necessarily mean you're really passionate about it, but the passion meaning that you are interested in it enough to get something to change for it.
Exactly. So your projects focus on specific teaching fields and provide answers to specific professional questions. They reflect the current research in the field, they're tied to standards, and must be broad enough in scope to be of value to other teachers in the field of study. We want you to be able to share it. We want you to be able to debate. We want you to be able to argue with your principal. Research says.
Well, most importantly, when you defend your project, you have to know the research. Because you're going to be asked questions about the research, because we're going to have your project before you do. So we're going to know it too.
So let's get down to the nitty-gritty. The first required text, this will be your new BFF. If you can't sleep at night, pull this sucker out. You will sleep in an instant, trust me. Start reading. The APA manual, everyone has to have one of these. You probably have it, hopefully from 560. If not, definitely order it on Amazon. Get it very, very quickly. And here's the ISBN number. I do recommend a spiral bound because it delightfully lays flat as you're doing your research. It's very nice to have, as you can refer to it.
Can you tell me where you got your spiral bound one? Because we both looked on Amazon and it just doesn't seem to be an option.
Have you tried Abe's books? That's
yeah.
What
is it called? Abe's books?
Abe's books is all used. I buy everything less than $5.
AMS?
Abe's? A-B-E-S. Abe.
Okay.
Like Lincoln.
Really? Because when I've ordered so many for our faculty.
They're all spiral.
And they're all, I mean,
I got mine on Chegg.
Chegg. Where?
Yeah, C-H-E-G-G.
Oh, Chegg.
Chegg.
Yeah, I got mine on Chegg.
Thank you.
And they offer the spiral bound. Truly, this is a text that needs to be right in front of you as you are writing. So it benefits. You know what? There might be a couple of young ladies, Jim, that are coming down Mount Rose, and I hope they're okay. It is. They made it. You know what? Good evening, girls. We beat you coming down Mount Rose. And we saw the accident, we were ahead of it, so.
Yeah, I was almost in that.
We're stuck for an hour. No. But you're okay.
I'm okay, yeah. I was almost, it was pretty gnarly. Yeah.
And my
was.
daughter in my car too.
Oh my gosh. Welcome.
Yeah, it's like right where the turn, like right on a turn, it was an accident and to your eyes. And there was no way of slowing down unless you knew it was happening. Yeah, I had to call the ambulance.
Welcome to, let's see, this is Alma and
Sasha.
Sasha, right?
Yes.
Yes. Would you like to, we'll stop this program mid with a quick introduction, let you two get a little bit settled. I'm so sorry about the travel. We'll discuss that later. But please introduce yourselves. Just say hello, where you're teaching, give us your name and where you're currently teaching, please.
I'm Alma, but I go by Sulema.
Sulema, all right.
And right now I'm studying Kings Beach Elementary for reading intervention.
Sulema, excellent. That's your middle name, am I
Yeah.
correct? Okay, got it. I thought so. Well, welcome, Sulema. We're glad to have you safely, both of you here. Sasha.
I'm Sasha, and I'm subbing at Tahoe Lake Elementary.
Excellent, excellent. All righty. We're just getting into the class requirements. Ladies, this is my husband Jim, and he is filming for us, so the class will be posted on YouTube, hopefully by tomorrow, if all goes well with IT, and you'll be able to view what you've missed. I'll send the link. All right, let's get back to the two handbooks. APA manual, and the one that I sent you is the Phase 2 Spring 2019 handbook. If someone gave you a handbook from previous semesters, please recycle it. We revise this every semester, so this is the most current. So this is the one you will use. Actually, while the APA manual is very accurate, very technical, this, and I hate to use this word, but the handbook trumps this APA manual. So go to the handbook if you have a question about a technicality, possibly in your citation. Stop smirking. This precedes, I guess we'll say, this one. So there are some rules that we at Sierra Nevada College have changed a bit to meet the needs of our students as they're writing. So,
and when you're writing, you're going to find from what Cheryl's presenting and in the handbook and the syllabus, there's so many examples. If you have a question with APA, please make sure that you have looked in your handbook and in the manual before you ask us, because we're going to know it's really easy to figure that out, right? So if you have or have not. Sometimes it's a challenge to find it. We might just say, go to page, Cheryl can say, you can ask her any question right now, and she'll say page 44, page 88. I mean, and I'm always like, well, let me see the book. So that's what we'll do, is we'll guide you back to the book for the most part, because we want you to learn the material instead of us answering the question and you're not having to look for it yourself.
So please take out the syllabus, if you would.
Or pull it up. You should have it on your laptop.
Yep, pull it up on your laptop, your device. And if you would, we did have to make some changes. And I'm going to jump into hot water here. I'm going to open a can of worms. And Sasha and Zulemi are perfect examples, and Mario, and even Jim and I as we drove down Mount Rose. There's a possibility, if I can get a classroom, and all eyes are looking at me, Zulemi, that I do live in Incline, and there are quite a few of you that live up at the lake or around the lake, and if we can, there will be times that we'll split and meet up at the lake. Very quickly, I'll give you 1 second to make a decision. Show of hands, how many might be interested in that?
If you were to meet up at Tahoe.
Oh. All right, that's good. That's
because
good.
It works for us because we're
This is
presenting
a large
the same
class.
information, and it's a large group here, and it's hard to work with a lot of people versus many people.
Although it's really nice to work together because
Yeah. A lot
truly
of
you have
questions.
two professionals that are able to answer it. So there are benefits. So there are times, there will be some classes that we might say, we'll meet down here pending weather. But let me check, those of you up at the lake, that I can get a classroom. Classrooms, as you well know, even at the lake are always a concern.
Does that mean that we all would go or just the ones that
No,
want to?
the Reno ones would be here
Reno
with
is
Beth.
amazing.
Beth lives in Reno. I live in Incline, therefore I kept looking at my roster thinking, oh my gosh, there's a lot of us up at the lake. Last semester I had one up at the lake. Everyone was from Reno or Carson, Gardnerville, whatever. And this semester, I kept calling Beth, oh my gosh, we have all
I've
these.
never had this many. for
Never,
like yours.
which is delightful,
Yeah.
absolutely delightful. So, we'll discuss that. That will definitely be an option. But, so what I did was I did some administrative changes and movement, and I sent about 4 of you. I emailed today, although Ellie, where'd you go? Ellie, where's Ellie? Ellie, right. Now, are you living in Reno now?
Now I am.
Oh, no?
I know.
Okay.
I know.
That's okay. All righty, then we can work that out. That's not a problem.
Okay.
We can do some switches. But I did some administrative switches so that those that did live up at the lake would be with me, just in case. We did that. So what I'm referring to then is the first page of your syllabus. Yes, Beth and I team teach this class, but yet your instructor information is on the very top of the first page. And this is the person that you will email, communicate, text, whatever, call, to get your questions answered. But we will also be the ones who will be grading your work. So if you were, when you signed up on the attendance sheet, that's still going around somewhere, I believe. Let's make certain that Zulemi and Sasha do get those. You'll know that you are signed up with either Beth or I, and we will be grading, one of us will be grading. That's about it, but we're both available to you, most definitely.
And there may be some switches. So Katie, you're going online. You decide to go online.
Yeah.
And then there's someone that moved from the lake here. It might work as a switch.
Exactly.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
Are there any questions at this point before we get into the?
Yes.
What determines when, like, if there was a storm, we would decide to do an incline, or what would make us do it in?
Or it would be every time, or if you can get the classroom, or?
Yes. A, if I can get a classroom, and B, if there is a storm, then maybe we could meet.
Yeah.
Or there are a couple of times when I do like the proposal workshop that I would want to meet down here. So I would reserve my decision and say that you may have to come down to Reno once or twice.
No, I just wasn't sure if it was just during storms or.
No, let's just do it. We live up there.
Yep.
Let's
I get
just do it. And I mean, it's such a drive. And I know, getting here at 4:30, I'm watching the clock, because we have to be out of here at 6:30 so that the 7 o'clock class can meet. But with that said, why not eliminate the drive, the stress, the permission that you may have tried to get to leave class early so that you could drive down here. We understand all of that. We were in the classroom for years. We get it.
Chelsea, did you receive it?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Oh, good.
Well, I sent her work.
Oh, perfect. Thank you, Beth. That's perfect. Excellent. All right. So, can you pull it up, Chelsea? Okay.
I actually have enough right now.
All right, we're rolling. All right, so that's page 1. I am not going to read this to you, but again, as Beth said, if you have a question, go to the syllabus. If you have a question, go to your handbook. And then, if you can't find the answer, then communicate with Beth or I, your instructor. But this is very lengthy, the syllabus, but it does have a great bit of information in here.
And,
So,
and if you have a question for me, please don't CC Cheryl. I mean, I know Cheryl loves you all too, but if there's something that I need to work with you on and I'm not sure, I will get it to her, but we get flooded with email. You can imagine if everyone emails each of us. So, and then there are times that we will send out an email to everybody ourselves. So Cheryl might send it to the whole, both teams, or I
Which
might.
I did today.
So,
I sent to all of them.
that can happen. So just, if that happens and you have a question, just respond to your instructor. And then, you know, we're going to answer it the same way.
Because Beth and I are night owls, and we're often texting each other about 1 in the morning, much to my husband's chagrin. But and so we'll be texting. Did you respond to Chelsea? Did you respond? Did you respond? So we just want to keep the lines of communication very clear and very straightforward.
Look, I can have one more thing. The
Yes.
other most important to me, anyway, as a former administrator, school administrator, is that we're going to be emailing a lot between each other, and I am saying this not for this class, but just overall general, and it's not, if you don't, please don't say that I'm feeling like you're this type of a person, but I'm just letting you know what to expect from administration, is that your professional disposition is probably the deciding factor in your career. I can coach a teacher to be an effective instructor. That's not a problem. I can't coach someone with a personality disorder. And a personality disorder in some respects are things of how you overreact, or even an email. So when you send an email, if we send an email to you, please be respectful and, you know,
respond
respectfully. Not with a, okay, yeah, I got it, or something like that. But be, you know, somewhat respectful in how you do that. And for your professional career, I'm just letting you know that that's one of the things behind the scenes that administrators do talk about. Professional disposition is the only reason I ever terminated teachers, was for professional disposition. Never had, I mean, you know, I moved them into different positions or coached them or whatever, but if they have a problem with how they interact with other individuals, and you talk about it, and you're trying to have some remediation, and it still isn't, just personality issues, it's not going to work well. And so we hold a very, very high standard for that. So we'll, if an email comes through that we are concerned about, I can promise you, you will hear about it initially, immediately, because we have 2 strikes and that's it. So first strike is you're warned, second strike you're out of the program. So, and
so Beth says this because
it's happened.
Unfortunately it does. This is intense. It's rigorous. You're
It's
under
stressed out.
a lot of pressure right now. You have personal and professional responsibilities, but we want you. We want your attention. In order to succeed, you have got to focus on us and this class and these last 2 classes. So it's a roller coaster.
It is.
It truly is a roller coaster.
And that follows through with your project director.
Exactly.
Because we've
In
had
the
situations where a student, once you have your proposal and you're making your project, and they don't like, the project director, I can tell you right now, Cheryl's got them trained. They're doing exactly what this program expects them to do and guide you through it successfully.
That's in 635.
And so when you're working with an instructor or project director, you may disagree, and be respectful about that and say, I really don't understand why you're asking me to, you know, or to us, I don't
Or even
understand
to
why
us.
you're saying this
Exactly.
paragraph does not meet the requirements, I think it does, instead of, I'm not changing it. Okay, and trust me, we've gotten those, we've given feedback and someone writes back, well, that's your opinion, I'm not changing it. I'm like, okay, that's good.
It's your choice. You're the one that won't pass, not
Talk
us.
about peer counseling,
So let's move to page 6. Enough of us being on the soapbox. Yes, Ashley.
Just a quick question, because I'm planning ahead. 2/18, it says we're meeting, and that's a Monday. Is that a typo? Or? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right in the middle.
It's 228 is what it's supposed to be.
What?
Yeah.
Ashley, are you the only one that caught that?
It's correct when you get farther into the syllabus.
It is.
Okay, yeah, that
Did I?
Where is it?
Oh, I see on the first page. No, it says 218.
Yeah, it should be 228.
And I mean, it says 228. Oh, two. I'm sorry. That's my typo.
Okay, I
Make
should have
it
looked
2.
farther.
No,
Okay.
no. That's my typo. I do about 15 in the
Right.
syllabi. So, yes.
I didn't catch it either, sorry, Cheryl.
No, that's surprising because I usually do catch that. Thank you so much. Let's look at page 6, and we'll get to that when we get to the class schedule. Please look at page 6 and page 7. So the grading policy in this class, as Beth previously mentioned, is a pass, no pass. And you are based on your participation, adhering to the attendance policy wherever we determine to meet. Those of you in Reno, just know you'll always be here. And then you will successfully complete all the assignments, which include peer edits of peer reviews, editing your peers' annotations, professional organization standards PowerPoint, that's one of the assignments, a total of 12 annotations, correct use of APA in all writing assignments, approval of your proposal. You'll create the proposal, it will be approved by an instructor, and then it will successfully pass proposal review. That is, your proposal will go to 2 professional editors, and they will evaluate your proposal. And then in the end, if you pass, based on the professional editors and the determination of Beth and I, then you will register for 635. Noticing the attendance, again, I'll briefly go over that. As Beth said, a school-sponsored event is your only excuse for missing or possibly severe illness or an emergency, but it's to your disadvantage to miss a class. Again, the school-sponsored event we can clarify on the school website. Also, looking at page 8, please move to page 8 under the SNC email system. I added this to our syllabus this semester. For issues with email access, contact the SNC help desk. Don't call us. If you call us, then you're delaying the time to get this corrected. So contact the SNC help desk. There's a phone number Monday through Friday, or send them an email if it's late at night. Because unfortunately, it's even happened to us, for some reason you are locked out of the SNC email. You
We also have a new librarian, by the way.
Do we? Oh.
Yeah, Beth's gone. It has recent, so she's no longer.
Okay, I questioned that, and I went on the website, and I didn't see.
Yeah, they're behind.
Anyway, please note that you've heard this every class in phase 1, now you're hearing it in phase 2, you must use your SNC email. If you begin to use your personal email, quite honestly, you are jeopardizing your integrity, your academic integrity, and we begin to think that you're not a serious student. So you must, first of all, we have to follow FERPA regulations, but you must use SNC email.
They can redirect it.
You can?
They can, yeah. So if you want to use your school one, you can call them and they can shoot the Sierra Nevada one to your, whatever one is your one that you use more.
Exactly. But you take responsibility for that. Exactly. And then Beth, looking at page 11, the professional dispositions, we've already discussed that. I won't get on the bandbox and lecture you anymore, but we want you to definitely be mindful of your behaviors and your responses. Think first. Again, your professionalism, your academic integrity. You are writing a Master of Arts in Teaching degree. You've never done anything higher than this unless you've gone for your national boards or you've, and some other profession, began a doctoral program. So, please be mindful. Turn to page, if you would, page 16. This begins our assignments for EDUC 628. When you write anything, any of your assignments in 628, you will use 1 inch all the way around, top, bottom, right and left margins. You'll use double spacing and always 12-point Times New Roman font. You will also submit your annotations as it is listed on the bottom bullet down here. It says, for example, you'll include your last name, EDUC 628, as it's written here in caps, and then annotation number 1, 2, 3, 4. You are going to write 12 annotations based on scholarly, peer-reviewed articles. We'll get to that. Here is a rubric of your participation. That's under number 1. Number 2, please read this also. This refers to your professional language in your writing using APA style. And I want you to jot down this very, very helpful website, because even I, as much as I use this and have memorized so many pages, the APA manual can be rather confusing and sometimes not specific in looking for answers. So, apastyle.org. apastyle, S-T-Y-L-E.org. It's an online resource for the book, for the manual. And there's quite a few blogs. You can type in your question or look at the questions that are created to the right of the window, and it will help you.
Sure, what about on my computer it says, I have a place where I can insert and it would put it in APA. Can I use that?
No.
Why not?
Absolutely not, because A, it's not correct. B, remember I said that S&C has their own ways, so at times this is going to be, it's going to be predominant over the APA manual. In Word, it's not always correct, and oftentimes it uses Chicago style rather than APA.
There are a lot of, I don't know if they're apps or just websites where you can, cut and paste and throw it into their window and they'll APA it. And so far, we've found none that it works for.
Perfectly.
Yeah.
But you'll get so good at it, you'll be able to do it in your sleep.
Yeah.
And all this good research, this is good stuff for like cocktail parties, right? You can bore your friends to death, bore them to death, because we as teachers always attend those kinds of events, don't we? Anyway, number 3, a professional organization. We will get to that in a later class, but as I said before, you will research a professional organization. Being a literacy coach, I belonged to the International Literacy Association, which was the IRA several years ago. And so always wanting to be a member of that. That was so beneficial to me as a teacher. And so I encourage you to not only research the professional organization that is applicable to your topic, but also possibly to join it. There's always good stuff on there, such as lesson plans, some sort of journals that you may want to subscribe to, all sorts of good information for someone in your field or at your grade level. Page 18 is just basically about the PowerPoint, and I did find, Ashley, this morning as I was reading over my syllabus, I do have a small error. It's not that big of a deal, but it does say in the middle of the PowerPoint rubric, it says content accuracy. If you would look at that bar, it says page 13 all the way across. Should be page 17. Please change that. That's referring, please note that change. That's referring back to the requirements for the PowerPoint. I missed that. Then, as we continue, the, I guess we would say, getting to the writing our research articles, you will write 12 articles. 8 will be empirical, and 4 will be theoretical. And again, we'll decipher the difference between the two in future classes. But you'll be looking for empirical research, 8 articles, and 4 theoreticals, for a total of 12 annotations. And those annotations will become your annotated bibliography, which will then become a part of your proposal. It will literally be copied and pasted into the back of your proposal, because this project that you are doing is research-based. So research-based on the research that is applicable. This next page, on page 20, this page is the most valuable page, so to speak, of this course. In that, and you will realize the value when you begin to write your annotations. When you are writing your annotations, you will have read, as Beth mentioned, many, many articles. And I taught with, before Beth, Allison, and I was very blessed to have her as an instructor. She's still adjunct for us and teaches in the Washoe County School District, not as much as we'd like, but as she went through the program, she said that she read over 40 articles in order to get 12. So you're going to have to read many, many articles, and here's a trick so you don't have to read 30, 40, 50 pages of one article. Read the abstract. That's the paragraph at the beginning of the scholarly peer-reviewed article. And the abstract will kind of give you an idea of, yes, that's the direction I want to go. Or no, that's not the direction that I want to go. And do know that as you're reading these articles, truly, hopefully, you will admit, seriously admit, that they become of interest to you, and as you're reading them, they may take you kind of in this direction or that direction. When you look at the research, what's out there? You know that. I'm proud of you. But it's just kind of exciting to then think, well, maybe my project shouldn't be about this, but I could go in this direction or this direction. So
we do have people that change midstream. They get into it and they can't find the research they're looking for.
Yes, that's true.
So if you pick something that's very unique, you might not be able to find the research you're looking for. In addition, you might read, you're going to start out and you're reading articles and you set one aside, this isn't going to work, please save it. You may go back to it, you're going to think, oh my gosh, I remember in January I was reading about, what was that? And you'll never find it, trust me. And then the other thing is when you read an article in the beginning, you're going to read and you're going to do an annotation, and then by about the 5th or 6th annotation, you're going to say to yourself, Jesus, that first and second annotation, the research there was really weak. I shouldn't, that you're going to, as you go, you will increase your ability to analyze good research and solid research. And so you'll go from you'll read a research article that used 4,000 students in their study, and you're going to then find one that you did earlier that had 2. And you're like, well, that was like, that was crazy. I don't want to use that. But there are times that you want to use a specific case study that'll help you. So it varies. So just be aware of the fact that you may write 20 annotations and pick 12. And it's not that we're telling you to. You're going to set that expectation on yourself, because you're going to find out as you go that the research out there is, there's a lot, but it has to be current.
Has to be current. Has to be 10 years or less. Can't be any older than 10 years.
If you can, try and keep it at 7.
That, absolutely, because you know how education changes.
Yeah.
And I had a project that I shared last night in 635, and it was a young man, actually he's from South Lake Tahoe. I hope he's teaching at South Tahoe High. Will Davenport, is he still there?
I don't know a lot of the teachers.
Okay, got it. It should probably interact
They
with
tend to like go in their room. I am not in their room.
Got it. He's very shy and quiet. But he did a project in actually 2016. It's been a while, and it was on graphic novels. So high interest, low level readers, and it was about comic books basically, and the influence of graphic readers, graphic novels. It was fascinating. I'll share it with you at some point during our class. But he brought me some research. He said, Cheryl, I've got research from 1942. I said, well, what are you talking about? It was fascinating. I said, absolutely use it. So if you feel it's applicable, advocate for it. But with Will, 1942, Superman had just come out. Superheroes had just begun to change our social values, so to speak. And it was truly, this research was so right on from 1942 as it applies to the superheroes of today that are now in the movies, and how it kind of followed the line of the social norms of society. It was very fascinating. So, if you find it and you want to advocate for it, please contact us.
You have to get approval if it's over 10 years.
Exactly, exactly. Then, page 21, oh, excuse me, I'm going to jump back to page 20. You will see that this empirical versus theoretical chart description, tells you exactly how to write your annotations. What needs to be said in the first paragraph, what needs to be said in the second, and what needs to be said in the third. Your annotations are only going to be a page and a half. If they get longer than that, we'll send it back to you and say, shorten, clean it up. So here is your challenge, to read possibly a 30-page article and condense it to a page and a half. 3 to 4 paragraphs, and that is it. So by following this descriptor chart, it will absolutely help you write your annotation and guide you in exactly what needs to be said in each paragraph. Very valuable. Page 5 is about your proposal. As I said, this is the culminating article. Page, what am I saying? 20, no.
21?
20, where did I get 5? Page 21, you know what, I was looking at number 5, the professional project proposal. I apologize. On page 21. Now, let's just move very quickly to page 22, which talks about the graduate level writing. Our expectations for your graduate level writing. If you do need help, please contact us, or we may suggest that you get an editor, or speak to the English teacher at your high school, or a good friend that you know is a good writer. Don't hide and not ask for help. Yes?
I just have a question about the balance between empirical and theoretical. Do we need 4 theoretical?
Yes.
Okay. So you want both
Absolutely.
of those? Okay.
Absolutely. Then, and that's the balance.
Got it.
And we can discuss that later.
Yeah.
On page 23 is the evaluation rubric that is used by the professional editors in evaluating your final project. Final proposal, I guess I should say. Professional project proposal. Alrighty, this is the last. Take a look at page 24. Here's our class schedule. As you can see, we're trying to boogie through our topics for this evening. Your readings and assignments are to the right. Tonight, we are discussing the syllabus and a bit of the handbook. I expect you to read everything. Then we will talk about researching your topic, and then rather than sleeping pills, you can use this and read chapters 1, 2, 3, if you would please. And you don't have to read it word for word, but just try to commit where some of the information is, because you'll be going back to reference it in the APA manual. By the meeting on February 7th, you will have finished reading through 6 of the chapters, 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 6, and just kind of skim through 7, because you'll need that not just for 628, but also for 635. Just as I said, be familiar what is in each section so you'll know where to go look. But also, and I still use it a lot, commas in a series of 3. Use your index. This is really helpful. It's really quick. It's a more specific index than most books, so use it to look up information that you may need. So, let's get to your topic of interest. But notice our class sessions here. I've highlighted in yellow 4. We will not be meeting. Sometimes we will do hybrid submissions of your work. Also, if the weather is bad, we will definitely, and I know it can get even bad down in Reno with ice and skating rinks, etc., and snow. So possibly we will have you submit electronically. We'll do the best that we can. So you must check your SNC email every single day, either for some information from Beth, myself, both of us, or possibly from a peer that you're working with. As you notice, and that is actually 228.
214 or 228?
It's 228, forgive me for that error. 228, we will meet. These are the class meetings that we will meet. And then as you turn to page 25, our last class meeting is when you will receive your corrected proposal back from the professional editors. At that point, that last class meeting, we'll probably meet again down here so we can meet all together and review what is going to be happening in 635, and then also register you for 635. Your registration will not be submitted to the registrar's office unless you pass through the professional editors and through Beth and I. Your proposal needs to pass. Then, please note I bolded May 6th to May 9th, and that's a Monday through a Thursday. 635 will be presenting their projects, defending their professional projects up on the Incline campus. So you will be required, Tahoe people will make the Reno people drive up there, but it's in May. It is imperative that you see their presentation so you know what's ahead of you. It's really a valuable experience to see what it's like.
Not a whole day type scenario?
No, it's a half hour.
Do we get to know what they're presenting?
Absolutely.
So we can choose the one that
Absolutely. So I have.
Oh, you have to attend one presentation?
Yes.
One sec. You'll go to one day of presentations, and I would like you to be at least 3 of them, if not 4, which would be an hour and a half to 2 hours. They always start in the afternoon, like at 4, 5, sometime around that. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, sometimes Friday, but we try not to do Friday. These presentations are scheduled based on the project director and the students' availability, and also the faculty that serves on the project panel, the professional panel that evaluates these students in defending their Master of Arts in Teaching professional projects. So I usually try to have them go from 4 to 6, maybe from 4:30 to 6:30. If you can get there by 5 and then maybe see 3 of them, but you only have to come one day, and you can pick that day that is most convenient for you, and I'll be sending out a schedule with also topics for you to decide. Well, I really don't want to see math. I'd like to see some reading projects, so I'll go on this day. So that will be up to you, but it will be like a required class meeting. So, Anne. Today is your day, your mountain is waiting, so get on your way. When you leave Sierra Nevada College, you will have achieved a teaching credential, which all of you have now. You've passed your required testing. You will be highly qualified in the state of Nevada, and you will leave with a Master of Arts in Teaching degree. And Anton, we've had several students who have gone through. I know you initially went through with the intentions of being a teacher, and we're very pleased and thankful for your service in the South Lake Tahoe PD, but we've had other people who have not gone into teaching, been in the classroom, and having an educational master's of some sort is always a benefit, no matter what you do. One young gal, very talented young woman that I was privileged to work with, works for Microsoft right over here. She'll never make the money that, let me change that. Let me change that. Teaching, she will never make the money that she'd make at Microsoft. She will never be in a classroom. That was not her intention. But she does quite a few professional developments for the company. Therefore, having a teaching credential was truly a benefit to her. And as you said, Anton, you are using some of the skills that you learned at SNC. So they're good skills for life. So that's exciting. And you will be done by the 1st of December, 2019.
A quick question.
Yes, please.
So for, first part is, so you're saying that if for some reason, when you enter at 6:35, if you're not teaching in the classroom, that's okay?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
I mean, you're creating and implementing lesson plans with your project base, but if you're creating those lesson plans, you don't actually have to carry them out.
You're not, yeah, definitely not. Especially think about if you are creating something for content you're not teaching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And my second question is, what would constitute having to apply for the $5.99?
$6.99.
$6.99?
If you don't finish.
The proposal.
The project.
The project in the fall. So you're doing the research now.
Yeah.
Then you begin the last class to write your project. So your professional project, you're going to write the compilation of
Starting to work on
lesson plans, exactly. If you do not finish in December.
By December,
then you'd go into the spring semester and finish.
Okay. And is there a time limit, like between taking the two classes? Like it's mandatory to take 6:35 in the fall. You couldn't wait till the spring for some reason.
We encourage you not to.
Yeah.
You could take an LOA. Don't tell the department chair that I said that. No, but you've got the momentum.
Yeah.
Keep going.
I'm just curious how it works.
Right.
Exactly.
Well, here's one reason why. Let's say you used some research that was 10 years old. We're going to say you got to add more research now because you postponed it almost a year basically. That's one of the reasons.
And that's a very important reason. So I'm going to speak to another one of the handouts that you received. This is also called the Educational Research. I sent to you electronically, front and back. You will also need this. This is a very, very important document for writing your annotations. So you'll, pardon? Oh, okay. Oh.
For sure, I don't think I got it. It's titled Activity Research, you said?
It's called Educational Research.
I think that was the one we got today, right?
That's what I sent today.
I didn't check, I didn't.
Okay, I sent this today, Educational Research. So,
Computers won't open it.
okay, so you'll be using the yellow and green sheet, which is the empirical versus theoretical descriptor chart. You'll be using this, and you'll be using this. Have it all available to you on your desk, table as you are writing. What this describes, and we'll get into this more during our next class meeting, but what this describes is the difference between theoretical and empirical, and then some of the empirical designs, because you are going to need to tell us, is it a case study? Is it a survey if it's empirical? Is it observational? Is it descriptive, experimental? Is it cross-cultural, etc.? And Beth prepared this excellent sheet that has all of the definitions here for you in the educational research, both sides. Alrighty, let's talk about your topic. How do you find your topic? Please apply an IPQP. I sent this also today, and the IPQP stands for the issue, the problem, the question, and the purpose. If you think of your topic, possibly regarding homework or third grade multiplication facts, the learning of third grade multiplication facts, issue, problem, question, purpose. Apply the IPQP to your topic and see if it works. Some students decide to pass up this process. It will disable you. Take a few moments and apply this, and it will truly solidify your topic. Consider your topic. Can you answer each question with the IPQP? If you cannot, then sincerely your topic will not work. So the I refers to a phrase indicating the topic of study. So your issue is somewhat global, more general of the research, such as homework in the elementary school. So it's the large picture. We're looking at the large picture. Then the P, a statement of the problem to be investigated. The problem is literally a statement of the problem of a teaching concern. My students do not complete their homework on a regular basis. The Q, a question that will lead to the resolution of the problem. So how could you solve this problem? In that there's got to be a better way to learn multiplication facts than memorizing them. The question will focus the research. What are effective strategies to encourage elementary students to complete homework assignments? The P is a statement beginning with the purpose of this study. The purpose is the intent of the study. The purpose of the study will be to explore ways teachers can help elementary students complete their homework regularly. This is where I was talking about those strategies in your research. And oftentimes when Beth and I are grading your annotations, we will say, ooh, this is a good stuff. Keep this in mind as a strategy for your lessons in 635. So if you apply this to your topic, it will truly help you realize that your topic is viable and it's going to be valuable also to you. Your research articles for your proposal, where you get them from the Prim Library. How many of you are familiar with accessing the online Prim Library? Oh, good. Excellent, excellent. Okay. If you have any trouble, you can contact the library or contact one of us. They need to be scholarly articles. That's why they're so boring. They're written by other scholars in the field to influence or to inform other professionals in the field. The most scholarly journals require an abstract. So, reading the abstract first. Don't start reading the article. Read the abstract to see if it's going to apply. Saves you time. Our APA manual on page 25 and 26, I believe that's the first chapter, discusses an abstract. So do read that first. Has to be peer reviewed. So we want other scholars to have reviewed this. There's several kinds of articles out there, including popular magazines, People magazines. Also very valuable for the classroom teacher is the articles from the reading teacher. They're great. They have great ideas for classroom lessons, implementation of strategies. But come on in.
If you want, if someone just opens that door, because we don't
It's
have the
locked?
key.
Is it
Yeah,
locked?
everything's locked.
Somebody will let you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So
Thanks.
come on in this way.
That's okay. I'll run around. Go.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, we're on the clock, literally. All righty. So, popular magazines, The Reading Teacher, great for your classroom implementation, but usually not scholarly, peer-reviewed, nor empirical or theoretical articles, so be cautious of that. Then you'll write 8 empirical, 4 theoretical, for a total of 12 annotations. Relevant to your research question, you cannot use books. It's only online articles because we want the most recent. Yes, sometimes books are recently published, but more than likely they are already outdated by the time they become published. You also may not use someone else's master's or doctoral thesis because oftentimes those have not been peer reviewed, they are not scholarly, and sometimes they might not be based on true research and they might be opinion. So what we're looking for are just the facts of your topic. And then this slide gives you an overview. What is empirical? So think of it this way, empirical and theoretical. Your 8 empirical and your 4 theoretical articles are going to be empirical is actually, if I went into Nate's classroom and I said, give me 10 kids, I want to do a research project and I want to evaluate their test scores or something like that. See how they respond to test scores. I'm the researcher, I'm in his classroom, and I'm doing the research, and I'm writing about it. That's empirical, that's firsthand. Theoretical is a researcher, probably very predominant in his field, very, very influential. And he said, I've got a better idea. Based on Cheryl Watson's research in Nate's classroom, I think I'm theorizing about using flashcards for learning multiplication skills. So he's not really doing the research. He's not on the spot doing the research. He's theorizing about a better way to do the research. So that's theory. And those are, I think, sometimes more interesting to read, but sometimes hard to decide between, is it theoretical or is it empirical? And that's where this comes in. This educational research handout. That document will help you determine. But know that an empirical is going to list the location of the study. It's going to list the age group of the students. It's going to say how many, who was involved. So it's going to talk about the participants of the study and where they're located. So with that said, that gives you a clue that it's empirical. If there is an article where they're just talking about Dr. So-and-so thinks that his way is the best, theoretical. He's theorizing on someone else's actual research. Okay? And I know that this is a very quick overview, but I know you've heard this before with Kelly, the difference between empirical versus theoretical, and we'll get into that. So, what you are going to now work on is to go into the Prim library and start cruising the databases. I recommend EBSCO, but start reading through, typing in your topic, and be specific with your topic. Don't just type in 3rd grade. Type in math. Type in second language learners. Type in gifted students. Be as specific as you can. I don't want to take the time to pull that up, but we can do it next week. But if you have any problems, please let me know. But be as specific as you can to get to articles that are truly applicable to your topic. And know that there might be 200,000 articles that come up about homework or cooperative learning or math facts or science at the high school level. And that's why, as you know, continue to type in more specificity as you focus on what you want to, your topic to relate to, what you want it to be in those bars, those search bars up at the top. And that will help you as you do it.
You know to check peer reviewed and scholarly.
Always scholarly.
Right.
Exactly. Always check those peer reviewed and scholarly. But also another good trick is use Google Scholar. That's another good one. You can start with Google Scholar and find some articles. That may help you. So they can kind of cross-reference each other if you need to.
Might be a silly question, but you
No
guys
silly
are
questions.
going to be helping, like, we'll write our annotation and you will help us, like, it's not like, oh, that's wrong, but
So
you give
here's
us like a help.
Good question. Thank you. Good question. So, if you will notice, I'm jumping back to page 24 of the syllabus in the tentative class schedule. You are going to submit. Your first annotation will be due on February 7th. So between now and our next class, we'll be working with you specifically on your annotations. You will have 12 annotations. The first 2, we call them freebies, in that you will submit them to Beth and I, and we will edit them, and we will give you feedback. constantly, and you will have the opportunity then to go back and forth between us until you get it just right. I'm not saying 6 or 7 times, but maybe 2 or 3. But you will learn from that feedback. And from then on, after 1 and 2, from 3 to 12, you will be graded based on what you submit. So these first 2 are major learning opportunities. And if I can take you back, let me find it very quickly. Page 21 is the rubric for your annotations. Everything in education needs an assessment. How will we evaluate? This is exactly what you will receive when we grade, so to speak, your annotation. We'll send it back with feedback on it, and then we will give you a rubric. But you won't receive a rubric until it's perfect, until you're good, you're done. But that's on 1 and 2 only. 3 through 12, you'll immediately get a rubric, and that's it. If you begin to fail the first one and then maybe the second one, we'll do an intervention and see how we can help and support you. But again, it's all about graduate level writing, all about it. So, and we will go into detail about that during our next session when we talk about more specifics of writing your annotations. We also use turnitin.com. How many of you are familiar? Good, good. Many of you, especially at the high school or middle school level. Turnitin.com is a site for authenticity and plagiarism, basically. And so your projects, your proposals, and your annotations will be submitted not just to your instructors, but also they'll be submitted to Turnitin.com, which will help you with similarities and originality scores. We'll go into that later. You do not need to sign up to Turnitin.com this week after the class. We'll talk about that more in detail next week, and Beth and I will send you, we'll actually create a class list in Turnitin.com and just send you an invitation so that we don't have to go back and forth with IT and get links and addresses and permission and all that. So, not to worry about that, but that is another step of your annotations that will be included, and that's next week. Beth.
Okay.
Oh wait, one more thing. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Real quick. In the manual, I want you to start on page 17. You'll review it, but your section for EDU 6628, please read that, is page 17 to 25. That's really your section. There's more helpful information that refers to the 635 class that you will use, but we'll get to that next week.
Yeah, because the handbook's for both courses.
Both courses, it's phase 2. Beth, please.
Okay, so questions? Yes.
Oh, I just want to say, because there's a new librarian, when you do the interlibrary loan request, are they, like, is there a new librarian? And
So here's the deal. This is the good news, is the director of library, new, I didn't know this is news to me, but that's good news. Because Dr. Markle did retire.
Yeah.
But Marcia Tejeda, who used to teach at the middle school at Incline, is working as the assistant. And she's the one, and she's awesome in that, she's the one, when you do an interlibrary loan through Prim Library, she's the one that will then send you the articles. She's awesome in that. She even works on the weekends. If she gets requests from you, like when you're desperate Sunday night and you're looking for an article, give her a day or two, but she will, if she needs to, she does try to get them out to you on the weekends. She's awesome. And I will go take her to lunch so that I can butter her up.
I think they had a luncheon for the new library.
Oh, did
I don't know. But, well, we're down here, so we don't get a lot.
We missed that.
We missed that stuff.
But just so that she's aware of our class list, how many we have, and who she'll be working with this semester. She's the one, so we don't have to worry about a new library director. We've already got our person in place. It's continued.
I was gonna say, I requested a article this morning and she got it to me by like noon. So she's really quick and.
That's great.
on
Don't, it never always works that way.
No,
Because
but
look
she
at
was
how
already-
many
yeah.
there are
Oh
of you.
gosh, yeah, I was saying, she's
Yeah.
already, she's still on it.
Yeah.
But
Correct.
sometimes, but try not to request like 5 or 6 at a time. So think if all of you request 5 or 6 at a time, that will delay her speed in getting it to you. So use Google Scholar too.
Okay,
Yeah.
so next week, please come with your IPQP, right? So we'll be separated
Topics.
probably, and so we'll go through it. I want to hear everyone's in my group. So basically, you've got 12 editations, 8 and 4, empirical, theoretical. That's what our first focus is on, and we're going to go more into that next week with empirical and theoretical. And just understand the first two are, like Cheryl said, you pretty much are going to pass them unless you don't make any corrections. If you're in my cohort, I'll grade them and then I'll hand them off to Cheryl, and then she'll find what I missed and add it to it, and then we'll give it back to you. You correct it and send it to us. We compare what we told you to correct with what you corrected. And I know you're sitting there going, that's a no-brainer. I don't think we've ever had, I'm just going to tell you, we've never had one student that does not miss making the corrections. It's amazing. So
easy to miss.
It is
easy to miss.
Some
But you
things-
have the benefit of both of us for the first two.
Right.
Not only are they free, but both of us are looking at the whole
Correct.
class.
Then after that, when you start bringing them in, you'll sit in different places with different people each time, hopefully, or somebody that has your content area. And you switch and you read each other's. And then you already have somebody that's edited it, you take it home and then send it to us, and then we'll make the corrections. And give you feedback. The difference is after 1 and 2, we're going to be really specific. Like, this sentence makes no sense. This sentence, you've left out the major idea of our grammar. But after that, they'll bracket it and say, you're missing sections of the requirements in this paragraph. Or you have many typos in this. We won't get as specific. We're going to guide you and highlight some stuff, but we're not going to correct it for you. The first two, literally, we will correct your mistakes and let you write them perfectly and turn it into turnitin.com. The professional organization, Cheryl hit that with the PowerPoint and the presentation. In your syllabus on 30 and 31 is a list of all of the professional organizations. So
not all, but a good start.
Yeah, you might have one. We've always had someone that's gone rogue on us and come up with a new one, which is awesome.
Which is great, and I include it to that list.
Right.
Thank
and
you,
then,
then.
so at the end, you're going to turn in a proposal that's 6 to 8 pages. It's incredibly detailed. We tell you exactly, this paragraph is this. Believe me. And then the biggest part of that is about a 2-page rationale that is your writing. And then it includes the 12 annotations. So it's not, the workload is intense. It might not seem like it. It's the reading and the research that's going to take up the most of your time. Let me think what else. I think that's...
And we actually, at the end of the syllabus, if you read it, we'll know that you read it, are examples of an empirical and a theoretical. We'll get into more detail about that next class. But now you're looking for your topic, and we can talk.
Working on your topic.
Yeah.
Each annotation is 3 paragraphs for an annotation. And we tell you exactly what goes in each one. You've got detailed information.
Sure.
This is our error. We'll get this corrected for the next group. Sorry, but the annotation we show you as an example has 4 paragraphs.
But that's
it's okay.
It's okay. It's okay.
It's all right.
As long as it's still 1.5 pages long.
A 4 paragraph is okay, but we try and follow the 3 paragraph rule. You'll see it.
That just keeps it to concise writing.
Right. Otherwise, people start going off into, Pluto and Mars and stuff. What else, Cheryl? I'm trying to think. I know we've covered a lot, and if you're not overwhelmed and thinking, oh my God, these people are crazy.
You should be.
Yeah, I would be like, where's the nearest bar?
Thank you.
So.
I passed this out It is a graphic organizer and it has the IPQP on the back. This hard copy will help you it's kind of old school, but just to kind of start putting your topic together in terms of the viability of it based on the IPQP.
Questions before you go?
I know.
Yes, Ashley, so random one. Have you ever had a proposal get denied after you guys approve it?
No.
Um,
But, the topic, no, because if it does, it's your fault. Not mine. No, seriously, because you haven't followed the procedures, you haven't made, usually it's about the corrections that you haven't made.
Here's the way
That's what it is.
What she's saying is, if we've given you all the feedback on what to do to change it, and you don't do that, okay, like if we say, your rationale should be 2 pages, it's only half a page, it won't make it through. We have it in writing, we gave you that advice.
Right.
If you still want to submit it that way,
that's on you.
That's your fault. So we will do everything we possibly can because we want you to get through. I mean, why would, we want everybody to be successful. I will, if someone says, I don't really want to change that or whatever, I'm like, see me, like set up a meeting with you. Not really, but I'm like, we need to talk about it. And I'm pretty insistent because Cheryl is too. We want you to be successful, and we know what it takes. We know what the technical people will review. Let me tell you what, we will review it, and we think we know some stuff. They make us, it comes back like somebody bled all over it. I mean, they find stuff that I'm like, whoa. And a lot of
because we're looking for content. We're looking for content. They are professional editors. We are not professional editors. But the good news is actually they do not make the decision. We do.
But the other pieces, when they edit it, they will also, it comes back with all this writing on it, and that's what kind of scares us. But a lot of it is them saying things like, I like your idea, or this was really interesting. And so when you first see it, you're like, oh gosh, because we just write primarily, change this, add this, correct this. But yeah, if you follow our guidance, we're not going to let you submit something that we know, without telling you,
we would never do that.
Making it.
Because we're looking at it from an education content standpoint.
They're technically looking.
They're looking at periods and commas and et cetera.
Technical formatting, yes.
With a topic, like how, I know it needs to be specific in like a field, how specific should the actual like topic be? Like she's saying multiplication in an elementary level, or like I know you should choose the grade level. And
you want to band it.
What, like if it's in social studies or ELA or whatever in that grade level, but like say it's like art integration, like should I choose like a specific style of art integration, or can it be like a general?
Well, something has to be specific. So it could be art integration into the Civil War, the history of the Civil War, or as some people call it, the War of Northern Aggression.
Like that's what I would.
Specific? Yeah, if you're going to be, if you're going to have a very generic integration like art, it could be, because art could be ceramics, painting,
drawing.
Right.
So if that's going to be kind of generic, in that
but you have
respect,
to narrow it down to the content and to a specific curriculum.
Yes, and here's why, Deanna.
Yeah,
because it's standards driven. So when you create every one of the lessons in this professional project starts with a standard. So the standard, the lesson, the delivery of the student engagement is aligned to the standard, aligned to the objective, and aligned to the assessment. So you can start looking at your standards, kind of go around the back door, and that's a really fun thing to do. Go to the doe.nv.gov and start looking at your standards for what is needed.
let me just give you an example. If this art, sorry Cheryl, the art social studies would be, I'm going to expect them to see painting, ceramics, drawing, collages, sculpture in a lesson in this book, Civil War, American Revolution, Western expansion. I'm going to see every one of those art things in all these different topics. Think of that. You've got hundreds of lessons there. So if you go that way, we're going to say you'll never get it done. You will be in $6.99 for 5 years.
Because you've gone this way. You've gotten so high.
Bring it in.
that we want you to bring it in, and that's what we might be saying on your annotations
That's
is
why.
narrow,
Otherwise,
narrow.
you're going, yeah.
It's too much work for you.
If she said drawing in 8th grade social studies, then we would still have her identify some topics, but we wouldn't just have to be Civil War. It could be Western expansion, Civil, whatever. But if not, you have to narrow at some point. Otherwise, you're going to have 10,000 lessons, and we're not going to allow that. We'll stop it. We won't let you, because that's our biggest problem, our students. You literally, everybody wants to save the world and, cure hunger, world peace, and we're like, no, you can't do that. We're not going to let you.
project of 12 lessons.
We're going to try and, So, email us if you have questions, if you're still confused, or don't worry about it.
Step outside and answer. Those of you, thank you all so much. I know, again, not best practices in teaching, a lot of information.